boy. As I sit here and I reflect on what was quite a night, I just think, how will the history books remember one Trae Young alongside the likes of, I don't know, Ivan the Terrible, Caligula, Henry VI. As a self-proclaimed king of Broadway, to show up tonight and plant a big fat turd right there on the middle of the center court at MSG. It's got to be rough. Did not reign supreme, as it were. King Trae. Might want to check that stitching there on the back of the old sneakers, my man. That's too bad. But this is not about Trae Young. It's about the New York Knicks. Fun win. Let's be serious for a second. Fun win. This is two fun wins in a row, two good wins in a row for the New York Knickerbockers team that not that long ago even after the Cleveland game, during the Cleveland game, after the Cleveland game, I'll be curious to see what the reactions are tonight after the Cleveland game. There was a lot of people who were like, man, I'm mad they won tonight. This is delaying the inevitable. Like, they need to just clean house and the whole thing. Well, I don't know. There's now two games in a row where the Knicks kind of showed you something. Does that make a difference? I don't know. I would think that it does. I would think that holding two consecutive teams under 90 points after you hadn't held the team under 100 points for the entire season, I would think that makes a difference. We're much like the Cavs, were the Hawks very bad from the field tonight? Yes, absolutely they were. The Atlanta Hawks shot 37% from the field and 16% from three. They were 6 of 36 from deep. That's probably a little bit of regression to the mean as far as Knicks opponents shooting from three this season. Knicks opponents all year long have taken a ton of threes. They've hit, a decent number of threes. Yeah, there was bound to be some regression, though. At the same time, I think you have to sit here and at least acknowledge that a couple of things probably aren't a coincidence. For one, the rotation that has changed and that has now taken Derrick Rose out of it. Cam Reddish has played some nice defense this year for sure. Did not play very nice defense in his last few games before he was taken out of the rotation. And you've shortened things up, you've tightened things up, and you've got Deuce McBride there. I think the fact that now you got your Deuce minutes, you got your Quickly minutes, you got your Grimes minutes, it can't be a complete coincidence that the defense has turned around. That's number one. Number two, I don't think it's a complete coincidence that after the fire under Tom Thibodeau's seat got its hottest, that it has been certainly during his Knicks tenure, the team is playing, it seems at least like they want this guy to be their coach. I can't say that for a fact, but again, you give up under 90 points in two consecutive games. Some of that was on some missed shots. Some of it was on some pretty good Knick defense. I thought the defensive effort tonight, by and large, outside of, the bugaboo that's been there all season, which is a lack of defensive rebounding, I thought the defense tonight was really good. Closeouts were good. Technique was good. Save for a couple RJ plays. We'll maybe talk about RJ a little bit later. Individual plays, good across the board. All of it was good. So yeah, I don't know in terms of the big picture what all that says. This game, I was saying at the end of the playback, because obviously I'm a Julius Randle hater, right? Can I make an argument for Quentin Grimes as the player of the game? And I was like, no, I can't do it. Julius Randle was unbelievable. I'll steal Benji's words from the end of our playback watch party. Shout out to all of our patrons. He shows you that on any given night, he could still be the best player on the floor and the best player in an NBA game. and he's a really, really, really talented basketball player. And tonight, at least, and really the last couple games, although Cleveland, there were some maybe not great moments. He defends when he defends enough, when he gives you enough on defense, which he's done occasionally this year. The offense is great. I just tweeted it out before. This is the first time in Knicks history a player has had 30 points, 15 rebounds, and 5 assists in a game in which they did not record a turnover. Now, turnovers are a stat that's only been recorded since like the late 70s, I think. So take it with a grain of salt. But still, first time in Knicks history, somebody has put up this stat line. You wish the defensive effort was more consistent. Because if it was, I think he's hitting the three enough this year. He was 6 of 12 tonight. Obviously, the only thing that leaves a little bit to be desired is it's still very, when the shot's falling, you're probably gonna get really good Julius at both ends. When the shot's not falling, that often dictates the rest of his game. Tonight, the shot was falling. I'm enjoying it. I love it. It was great. Good to see. Not to be outdone, Quentin Grimes. Quentin Grimes finished tonight with 23 points on 11 shots. He was 5 for 7 from deep. The team shot 47% from three. Talk about, again, regression to the mean. Eventually, this team was going to hit some threes. And he was amazing. I mean, can't ask any more of a role player in the league. And, give the Knicks this amount of credit. Two of their three best players, ostensibly two of their three best players, Jalen Brunson and RJ Barrett, were bad tonight. And Jalen Brunson, RJ was not good. Jalen Brunson might have been worse. Jalen Brunson I think this was probably Jalen Brunson's worst game as a Knick. I know he's had some bad shooting performances. The offense was clunky when he was in there. He wasn't making quick decisions. He was, as Benji pointed out, he was over dribbling a lot. Just wasn't hitting shots. He just wasn't good on the offensive end. So, two of the Knicks' best players had really bad games, and 2 for 14, 4 for 13, 6 of 27 between the two of them, RJ and Brunson. And they won this game going away. And the reason they won this game going away was because of Quentin Grimes, in addition to Julius Randle, obviously, and the defense. I'm not really sure who else we need to talk about. I mean, McBride, 27 minutes, obviously. He was massive out there defensively, only got 3 points. I don't care. He was my third most important player of this game. I'm sure the Quickly stuff is going to come up on the post game, so I'm not really going to dive too deep into the Quickly thing right now. I will just say that, he was 2 of 8 from the field on a day when a report came out. Shout out Fred Katz. He'll be on the pod tomorrow. Report came out that, the Knicks are talking about him. I don't think that, speaking of things that are not a coincidence, I don't think that's completely a coincidence. But look, I don't want to end the the preamble on a downer. Team played really well tonight. They beat a team that is not in a good place. DeJounte Murray going out helped a lot. Good job by RJ Barrett getting under DeJounte Murray's feet there. It's a good win. It's a good win, and it's an especially good win because, and I'll end with this, and then we'll get to the super chats. Sitting there in the second quarter, team was up by 18, everything looks hunky dory, and then all of a sudden, Hawks creeping back in. The Knicks offense can't do anything, creeping back in. I think the lead got down to 1 at one point. It was a 17-0 run. The Knicks stemmed the tide. And say it's I don't know who I want to give credit for that. Is it the shortened rotation? Is it the fact that maybe now after 24 games or 23 games, these guys know look, this is what we're going with the rest of the year. We took a while to figure it out. This is our group. You guys are our group. This is who we're going to roll with. This is who we're going to war with. Maybe that's what they needed. I don't know. Still some things that aren't perfect. I'm sure we'll get into all that, but that's all I want to say. And I will do a standings check in a bit because I think it is crazy that we are sitting here talking about a team that after all of the fucking black clouds and doom and gloom and all of the shit, here they are. They're a game back of 6th. They're a game and a half back of 4th. And the Pacers are losing right now, and the Nets almost lost tonight. It's just, a lot of teams are going through it. And the Knicks are one of them. And it feels worse here because we're in it. But they're 12 and 13. So give them credit for that. All right. Let's do it. Andrew, hello, sir.
Hey, John. First of all, shout out to our friends at WynnBet. I will leave you the honor of doing the ad read in just a second. 3 for 4 night for the betting and sweating crew on the pregame. And just so my nerves and my paranoia about how the internet works makes things clear. John did not actually mean good job, RJ, getting under DeJounte Murray's foot. He did not actually mean good job, RJ Barrett, injuring DeJounte Murray. He did not mean that. John, can you just clarify? That is not what you meant. You were being facetious, doing a little joke. And I thought it was mildly humorous, but I understand that our friends in Atlanta, who are not really our friends, might think otherwise. So, John, can you, for the record, clarify?
Atlanta could go fuck themselves. So could Trae Young. Yeah, but sure, I was being facetious.
Okay. Just need to hear the full sentence so I could just hit play when someone clips this tomorrow.
Oh, my God. You are such a nervous Nelly.
Shout out to our friends at WynnBet, our friends at Chase, our friends at Factor, our friends at Blue Wire.
Of course. Shame on you, RJ, for getting on DeJounte.
Yeah, shame on you, RJ. We do not condone that.
Terrible job. Terrible, awful.
Now, if it was an Atlanta Brave, people don't want me to talk about baseball. Go ahead, John. All yours.
Yes, download the WynnBet app or visit www.wynnbet.com to start winning. And shout out to the pregame show for going 3 for 4. Good job by them. Sign up today to receive a special offer. Bet $100, win $100. Download, bet, win. All right, good stuff. Let's get to it. I think it's going to be mostly positive tonight, but who knows? Crazier things have happened. I wonder who we're starting off with. Will Oliver. What's going on, Will? How are you? Thanks for the contribution. Maybe if Trae clicks his heels 3 times, he will be the king of Broadway. I mean, you got to have some kind of cojones to wear those shoes, on the road. I mean, look, and look, granted, I'll give him this. The guy's killed them. The guy has absolutely murdered the Knicks in the playoffs, on the biggest stage, the bow, the whole thing. He's followed it up with other good performances the last few years. Trae Young is a phenomenal basketball player. He's one of the best 10 offensive basketball players in the sport. He's not having a good year, but he's awesome. Sucks to be you tonight, buddy. Andrew, good as the team played, RJ had nothing. The game's bland. All right. 2 comments. We got into the negativity. I mean, RJ is in the middle of it right now. It was brought up on playback tonight. Actually, no, I think it was brought up on halftime Zoom tonight. Shout out my boy Danny for bringing this up. He has to be affected by what happened this summer, to know that not just that your name came up. That's the thing. It's not that his name came up. It was that the team agreed. They made the affirmative decision. All right, we are putting RJ Barrett in this deal. RJ Barrett's going to be the centerpiece of the deal. It's about crossing the T's and dotting the I's. And he hasn't come back from that yet. And I do think that that's what it is. I think he's going to come out of it. He has, because he's a better basketball player than this. He's not this. I'm harder on RJ than most, but he's not this. He's going to come out of this. And I don't know what it's going to look like when he comes out of it, but he's going to come out of it. And I think he's going to come out of it for the Knicks, if for no other reason than I can't imagine they're going to trade him if he's in the middle of this. So, yeah, we'll see. Thanks, Andrew. Brian Benjamin, what's going on? If you go down the list, I think Tibbs lost the locker room. Sims, Rose, Evan, Obi, IQ, Cam. Like, each one has a fair gripe with the coach. So, a couple things. I guarantee you he didn't lose Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose would go to his grave defending Tom Thibodeau. Don't think Sims. Um, don't think. Oh, this was something sent in at halftime. Oh, interesting. Um, Obi. I don't know. I've been told and I think that just reasonable minds can deduce that the organization is still high on Obi Toppin. Cam, sure. Yeah, I'm sure Cam wants the hell out of here. I would imagine Emmanuel quickly wants the hell out of here. I'm sure if Evan Fournier never played or never saw Tom Thibodeau again in his life, he'd be fine. At the end of the day, it's tough to say that you've lost a locker room if you go out there and you give this sort of defensive effort 2 games in a row. And it was kind of across the board defensive effort. The only guy who's not really whose defense was really glaringly bad tonight was RJ. And again, I don't know. I don't think that's an RJ, being like, I'm not giving it my best for this coach right now. That's RJ being in a weird place. So that would be my 2 cents. I mean, look, we talked about it on the playback. Like there's gonna be Tib hatred. They could win 20 games in a row. There's gonna be people hating on Tibbs. I would expect nothing less, but got to call a spade sometimes. Yanni Golan, what's going on, Yanni? Hi, KFS. If the price for Donovan Mitchell was Quentin Grimes, I'm glad we didn't pay it. All right. I love the Quentin Grimes love. Now, if we can somehow get the Bulls to take RJ and Rose and 2 of our protected picks, oh my goodness, for LaVine, we could be a good, pretty young team now. Thoughts? So I'm not gonna divert course just because for anybody who didn't see it, Woj brought up LaVine's name as like, oh, would the Knicks sniff around LaVine after they didn't get a star this summer in Donovan Mitchell? That contract scares the bejesus out of me. I don't know what that dude's knee looks like. He's not playing. He's not shooting well this year at all. He is. Something's not right physically, it seems. I know he had a really good game the other night. I know they are. I think in the process, yeah, they beat the Wizards tonight. He probably had a good game. I would guess because they scored 115 points. Yeah, 8 of 19, 25 points, 5 of 9 from 3, 5 assists. Like, yeah, maybe he's looking good now. 5 years, 205, 210, whatever it is, 215, some. It's $40 million a year for a guy with a knee question mark. That scares me a lot. Now, the price you're proposing is basically like, hey, Chicago, if you just want to get out from under the contract, we'll take it on for you. Do you take a meeting? Like, yeah, you probably have a meeting about it. Just because that dude's really good when he's healthy. And at the same time, it's like there's a part of me that wonders if Zach LaVine was on our team, would even when he's playing well, would we be having some of the same conversations about him that we have about Julius Randle? Zach LaVine's a better player than Julius Randle. Offensively, he has a world's better track record. Julius has the one big season, and now this year, kind of. Zach LaVine has been one of the top 15 offensive players in the sport for the last 2 years and maybe even the last 3 years. But like big time defensive liability, decision making not always there. He's gonna have the ball in his hands all the time. He's not your point guard, but he needs to have the ball in his hands a lot. Like a team with Zach LaVine on it, what is that team's ceiling? I don't know. I suppose I would have talked to Tibbs about it. He coached the dude. It's gonna be a no from me though for right now. Ryan Huang, what's going on, Ryan? Massive Julius trade value game. The only king titles Trae Young holds are king of bald waves and king of fraud Jays. I like that. Both of those are pretty good. Yeah, I don't know. if they keep playing well, I'm going to be really, really, really interested to see if they move Julius. That's the thing with Julius, right? If they're playing like crap and he's not playing well, tough to move him. If he's playing good and they're winning games, will they move him? You know? But I hear you. Build through Taj. What's going on, man? These W's are so meaningless. Shake my head. Rest in peace, Cam. Hashtag 53 regrets. I mean, look. If you think the wins are meaningless, like I don't know. I guess turn off your TV for probably for a while because the front office is not going anywhere. And actually, more importantly than that, the owner's not going anywhere. They could fire Leon Rose. James Dolan could fire Leon Rose tomorrow. And, I said it after the Dallas game. He wants an entertaining product at MSG. It's the bad losses that get to him because he doesn't like hearing the boos. He doesn't like the shit that he hears in games where they get their asses kicked. If the team's mostly fun, James Dolan doesn't really give a shit about anything else, And unless he sells the team, that's not changing anytime soon. So if you're saying the wins are meaningless, that's fair. It's very fair. It's completely fair. But I mean, honestly, root for the guy to sell the team. That's really all there is to it. Hannibal Miles, what's going on, Hannibal? Appreciate the contribution. Tibbs' stubbornness will be his downfall. Tonight's game was a win on paper, but I can't help but feel that the rest of the team is checked out. But I'm afraid of what's going to happen when we start losing. I'm surprised, man. I guess when people are out, they're out. Was a win on paper, but I can't help but feel that the rest of the team is checked out. Again, who's the rest of the team? Because if you go through it, I mean, it was Julius Randle checked out tonight? I don't think so. Julius Randle's just a weird basketball player, and he has never shown the ability to be fully engaged defensively. I don't know. I don't get the sense that Julius is checked out. And go up and down the list. Is Jalen Brunson checked out? No. Quentin Grimes checked out? No. Mitchell Robinson checked out? No. Jericho's Miles McBride, Emmanuel Quickley, are they checked out? I mean, Quickley's struggling a little bit. I don't think he's checked out. Hardenstein, is he playing like guy who's checked out? No. I mean, Obi's struggling from the field again, but is Obi playing like a guy who's checked out? No. I just named the rotation. If you're worried about the guys on the bench, if you're worried about Cam, I mean, again, I know the Cam Hive is alive and well, and it's cool that you care about the guy. Front office doesn't care about them that much. Tell you that right now. Trying to move him elsewhere. Haitian Ferg. What's going on, Haitian? Love the defense tonight. Randall balled out. Grimes and McBride handled Trae Young. And the 9-man rotation is now 2-0. King of Broadway was neutralized. LOL. Let's go Knicks. Yeah, I'm here for that energy. 100%. Oh, look at this. Andrew Claudio coming through with the stats. Knicks are up to 19th in defensive rating per NBAstats.com. I love it. See, we went from 26th to 19th in 2 games. There you go. That's what a little cleaning up the 3-point defense will do for you. Dom the Dentist. Damn the Cam Reddish truthers. Shout the F out to Quentin Grimes. I think we keep Julius and trade the fat off the team for more assets to get the star. I'm in. Trade the fat off the team. I'm assuming you mean the guys that aren't playing. Yeah, they're trying. They'd like to. I love Quentin Grimes. He's part of the solution, 100%. As for damn the Cam Reddish truthers, again, it was the same conversation that I had with people this summer with RJ, right? And RJ's value. The market tells you what you have. And the Knicks took calls on Cam Reddish this summer. I'm pretty sure Fred Katz's article today said that the Knicks have been talking to teams about Cam Reddish this year. He called the market sparse. Like, the Hawks tried to trade this guy for months, and they finally got a barely a first-round pick, because it might not convert as a first. And they jumped on that shit like you wouldn't believe. And the rest of the league, and Fred wrote it today. Shout out again, Fred Katz. No one's given the Knicks what they gave up for Cam. So the Cam truthers could think that everybody has their head up their ass and nobody knows what this guy is and nobody knows what this guy could be. And he's a wonderful player waiting to happen. Like, the inconsistency is what it is. And the way that he responded, I think, to losing his starting job to Quentin Grimes, I think it kind of goes hand in hand with what we've seen from Cam Reddish over the course of his career with how he's handled adversity. Wanted out of Atlanta, now he wants out of New York. So apologies to the Cam truthers, but the last thing I'll say on that is, like, shame on the front office and the coach, both of them, for how, like, their approach to this thing, and like they should have probably never gotten him to begin with, and like it speaks very badly about how they've mismanaged this asset, and like all of the things. All that's true. But both things could be true. Okay. Next up. Hush Zhu. Oh my goodness. What the Knicks are doing to Cam is legitimate malpractice. They're treating him like he was Kemba. He was a net positive for us, and to kick him is nasty. I mean, he played some good games. He was a helpful player. He did what was asked of him for the most part. He didn't really shoot it. Like, he had some really awful offensive possessions. He's not a guy that is creating for you at all. Every time he tried to create, it looked worse than any player that has tried to create for the Knicks this year or in some time. He's good at attacking closeouts. He gives you some nice splash plays on defense. He gives you a nice late on defense. He's good energy on defense. Like, a lot of good things Cam did this year. It would be really nice if they could have made it work. I'm not sure. And again, you could criticize their direction. Criticize their direction all day long. Trust me, I have a newsletter coming out on Friday. It's going to fucking kill them for the direction that they've taken with this team. But if you are where they are at right now, which is trying to win games, I'm not sure I could sit here and I could criticize the decision to take Cam out of the rotation. That's tough for me to do. And that's unfortunate, but it just is what it is. Zach Munger. What's going on, Zach? I feel nothing with these past couple wins. Something that just seems off about the vibes. # grimy season. Okay. I'd be curious to see if that changes. Again, they're 12 and 13. Shout out to Andrew. Just told me they are up to 15th in net rating, so they are as mid can get. Their next bunch of games at Charlotte, who almost beat Brooklyn in Brooklyn tonight. Then home for Sacramento. At Chicago, who 2 games in a row, putting things together a little bit. At Indiana, who's may or may not be trying to tank away the season. Like, do they win? I don't know. Do they win 3 of those games? Do they go 3-2? Do they get back to 500? Like, if this team is 15 and 15 after 30 games, does that matter? If this team is 16 and 14, dare I say, after 30 games, like, at some point, will people get back on track with this season? I don't know. I mean, that's between you and your God, I guess. But you're right in that things are in flux. The roster's in flux. Guys know they're being discussed in trades. Quickly knows he's being discussed in trades. And they're a team that's a little bit, they're in the middle of it right now. But they're still fighting. I'm enjoying it. Danny K, thank you for the very generous contribution, Danny. Contributing what I won off of a Hawks fan tonight. Hey, thank you, my man. F. Trey Young, Sims floater? Yes, please. I didn't record that one. I shut my QuickTime off before that. That's a bad job by me. I knew saying it. Just enjoy the wins, Knicks fans. Yeah, that's the thing. Is like, and like the shame of what this front office has done, and I guess if you want to say what this coach has done, is it really? I think there are a lot of people, a lot of diehards, a lot of people who really spend a lot of time thinking about this team and caring about this team and are invested in a lot of these young players and like all those things. It's become really, like, genuinely, I do believe it's become hard for them to enjoy wins. And you can criticize people's fandom, but at the end of the day, like, if that's your natural reaction, I mean, it is what it is. Like, it's your natural reaction. And that means something is wrong. Something is wrong with their approach. Like, you should never have a segment of the fan base, especially a segment of the fan base that probably cares about the team the most, that is sitting there after games being like, I feel nothing. Like, that's not cool. Thanks, Danny. Wombler, who's better in 2 years, Quentin Grimes or RJ Barrett? Next question, please. Oh, man. I think it's still a question. It's a question. I know who. With the way that with if I was building my NBA team, I would take Grimes. But that's me. Maybe RJ's better. RJ could be better. I just think RJ's a tougher fit because I don't trust the defense and I don't trust the shot. And unless he becomes a star player, you want a guy who could defend and shoot. Kevin Danishevsky, what's going on, Kev? Quentin Grimes is the best thing about this team. No disagreement right now. He is the guy I enjoy watching the most. Incredible D and 3. How about finishing? Yes, he finishes great. Wonderful finisher. Great attacking closeouts. Does a lot of things Cam was doing, except better. Quick, crisp decisions. Love Reggie Bullock, but we beat Atlanta in 2021 with Quentin Grimes. Whoa! That's a take. I don't know about that, man. Julius was fucking horrendous that series, and they didn't have Mitch. Yeah, I don't know if they beat Atlanta. I would have been curious, though. Might have been a better series. David Futternick. Trey Yawn. Yes. Yes, yes, and yes. Thank you. Dom the dentist. That trombone they play behind a fat person walking. Oh, my God. I hear that in my head every time RJ tries to make a basketball move. It's not great right now. Again, I feel I don't want to. It's not great right now. It's just not great. I don't know what else to say. It's just not great. Hush Zoo with one more. I also found your stance swap on Cam odd. I don't know what that your stance on swapping Cam odd. I don't know. Anyway, Grimes was the only Knick to move me this game. Randall abusing a 20-year-old. LOL. Good for him. Now hashtag trade 30. Yeah. A lot of fans in this camp right now. Rowan Beckford Sr. What's going on, Rowan? Bad play. In parentheses, bad players, notwithstanding, if the Knicks hadn't lost some of those leads and lost those close games, what would the narrative be right now? Yeah, I'll repeat something that I said earlier on playback, taking it even more direct. Go back and look at some of RJ's shooting games. And again, I'm not trying to pile on RJ. Like, he's had a rough start to his year. He'll get better. He'll be fine. All those things. But, like, if he just shoots, average, slightly below average in some of those games, some of those close losses, I'd have to go back and look, like, game by game. Does that make a difference? like, it really does. And like, look, can you sit here and be like, well, there would still be bad vibes because you'd still have like the terrible Boston loss, or you'd still have, the terrible Dallas loss, and like you'd still have the terrible, like, if you're talking about the close games, like the Portland game, the Memphis game, even the Bucks game, you want to tell me like one or two of those go differently, and then maybe they don't lose one of those leads, like maybe they don't lose the Hawks lead, right? Something like that. Like, that's an interesting conversation, because like if we're sitting here with this roster and we're talking about a team that is, what would they be? They would be what, 15 and something? Yeah, so they would be what, 15 and 10? Even 14 and 11. Like, yeah, I think the narrative would be very different. But they're not. They lost those games, and they have to own that. They have to own that. Juanon, thanks for the contribution. Great win, but let's talk about what we really want. KFS fan night at a JD and the Straight Shot concert. I don't know if that one's going to happen. That one might not be coming to fruition. Might not. We'll see. We'll work on it. Chris Carter, what's going on, Chris? Not much to complain about today. Gee, you could have fooled me. But here we go. Here's a complaint. But regarding RJ, I know the offense will come and go with him, but how did he become such a bad defender? Genuinely asking. The defense is so much more worrisome to me than the offense. Like, he's gonna make shots. Like, he made shots tonight. He was 2 of 6 from 3 tonight. Like, that's not great, but it's fine. 15 points on 13 shots. Okay, not ideal, but like, some of the decision making is like, not what you want, but like, okay. The defense to become just a substandard wing defender in the NBA. I mean, and substandard is putting it politely. I don't know the answer. I really don't. I have to think it's in his head a little. I don't know. So, I mean, he has a handful of defensive plays a game, but like the one where Tom and Benji were going back and forth on Twitter with the cha-cha slide joke, where he was, I don't know what the fuck he was trying to do with I think it was AJ Griffin driving. What's happening? I don't know. I hope he knows. Hope he has some ideas. It's not good. Thanks, Chris. Good question. Good comment. Harry Donor, I don't see your comment. I'm sure Andrew will get it up here soon. If it's just contribution, thank you for the contribution. Janky AF, I like the Knicks. I like when they win. I like KFS. My favorite comment of the night. Thank you, sir. Josso focused. If you trade Randall, a role opens up for Cam. I'm gonna go out and I did this in the preseason, and I don't know if anybody crucified me for it. You should have, because I sat here in the preseason and I said, 0 chance Cam is ever playing a meaningful role for this team. I said that. I said those words, and I believed it at the time because I thought they were out on him. And then, wouldn't you know it, Quentin Grimes gets hurt. Cam Reddish comes in. Cam Reddish plays pretty good. A little inconsistent, but pretty good. And off we go. So maybe famous last words for a second time, but I think the Cam thing is done. And I thought the fact that tonight Obi Toppin got injured in the and didn't come back in the game after halftime, and they went out and Tibbs essentially played an 8-man rotation until garbage time. That told me something, Now, if Obi was out, if there's a report that comes out in a week or whatever, or not in a week, in like later today or tonight or tomorrow, that Obi Toppin's out for some extended period of time, I don't know. Does that change things? We'll see. Not sure. Joseph Brendan, what's going on, Joseph? I thought Deuce was great tonight. He's my third best player of the game. 6 legitimate assists. Got into the paint with some consistency. I need him to teach RJ how to do that. Yeah, I mean, RJ, look, I'll say a lot of things about RJ. He could get into the paint. Things aren't great for him right now, but he could get into the paint. But Deuce is wonderful. Love Deuce's game tonight. No complaints about Deuce. Even hit 3, which is wonderful. And it wasn't even a G League game. Sean Ford. Shouts to Quentin Grimes. Is it possible that Grimes and Deuce and a 9-man rotation are somehow the keys to unlocking this team? Am I believing again? Damn it. I'm right there with you, Sean, man. The Kool-Aid is never far off. It's never far off. I think the 9-man rotation helps a lot. I think any coach in the league would tell you that he thinks that his team will play better with a 9-man rotation. Having the defensive backbone, Grimes, Deuce, and Quickly, I think that helps a lot. I still think you need a little bit. I want to see a little bit more. It's still tough. The couple of areas that still concern me going forward is like RJ, when he has these games on offense, it's like, oh my God. The nights where Julius isn't hitting his 3-point shot, I think you tend to get a different version of Julius in other aspects of his game as well. I think the 3 really spurs him on. Defensively, can this team continue to survive minutes with Julius and RJ on the floor at the same time? Because they've been both just not been very good. So there's still questions, but like the team that we're seeing right now, is this a team I feel pretty confident can be a 500 or a 500-ish team? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But I have a feeling a trade is coming. Jay Wright, what's going on, Jay? I think guys got to come off this steadfast #fire Tibbs take. He's bent a lot in the last few weeks. Guys got to play well. Well, I'll just leave that one there, and I'll just leave that one there. I've done enough Tom Thibodeau defending for one lifetime. So, Charles Berg, what's going on, Charles? King of horrific hairlines. That's a pretty good one. I like Benji's Lord Farquaad tweet. Man, the Celtics are so good. I have the Celtics on right now. They're up to 24 in Phoenix. They are just not a fair basketball team. Josso focused with one more. You mean to tell me that the more high-energy, high decision-making players get minutes, the better this team looks under this coach? You don't say. Yeah, and like, again, that's one of those interesting conversations to me about like, well, does Tibbs deserve all of the blame for taking so long to make the necessary rotation decisions? Does he get none of the blame because he was dealing with Evan Fournier with $18 million? I'm like, Cam Reddish still ostensibly an asset, and like Derrick Rose, a guy who is getting paid, $14 million this year, and kind of the whole thing. Like, as with most things, I think the blame, some of it goes on Tibbs, some of it goes on the front office, right? If it's 70-30 one way or another, that's up to you. But yeah, high energy, quick decisions. Like, and eventually you'll make shots, right? Like, it's amazing how much high energy defense and quick decision making often lead to made shots. And for the most part, they hit those shots, and with the exception of that second quarter stretch. I do. So Cam, I guess, was asked tonight about what the reports were, and he deflected it, apparently, saying that the reporters seem to know more than him. And I think he said something like, that's the nature of the beast. I'll have to listen to the whole thing. But, yeah. So not much from Cam, I don't think. Not that I would expect much. Juanon, what's going on, Juanon? When do we start the Grimes John Starks comparisons? Ooh, boy. Ooh, scrappy, gets hot quick, and a good locker room guy. Different sorts of players. Like John Starks was just such a. He fed so much off the chip on his own shoulder, and like came from such a different. He took such a different track. Like, you know, John Starks had to claw and scratch his way up from like. I mean, he was not a big time recruit, and like obviously he wasn't drafted, and like he spent time whatever in the CBA, and like the whole like Quentin Grimes was a top 10 recruit. You know, he was humbled. Boy, was he humbled at Kansas, and then had to kind of recreate his career, and like credit for him for still being a first round pick. Just as player types, not crazy. I think Quentin Grimes and look, John Starks was a wonderful defender. I think he was still limited by just the physical. He just has certain physical limitations. I think Quentin Grimes could be a legitimately, like, really, really impactful defender in the backcourt. I think he's, his size. Not that he's that big. He's not one of these big wings, but like he's big enough. Not crazy, but he's got to earn it. John Starks. It's John Starks, man. One of the 10 greatest Knicks ever. So, Eric Z. First time, long time, John. What's going on, Eric? For real, but hat tip to Robert. Why do you think it took Tibbs fighting for his job to change the rotation and go with defense first, getting Deuce on the floor? It's a great question. I think this, and you can accuse me of being a Tibbs apologist after this answer, but if you want my honest answer, this is my honest answer. I think Tibbs is part of the decision-making apparatus for this team, and I think they were trying to serve a lot of masters heading into this year. And I think, like, I'm sure that Tibbs had an inkling that this is the direction maybe he wanted to go. At the same time, like, to benching Evan Fournier, after he just set your franchise record for threes, and like he's guaranteed $37 million over the last 2 years. Like, that's tough to do out of the gate. It took him however many games it took him to bench Fournier. Now, to get to this point involved benching Reddish. It involved benching Rose. Again, Derrick Rose. I think here's the criticism of Tibbs. Probably took him a little bit too long to look at the Derrick Rose situation and be like, it's not coming back. But again, can you blame Tibbs for taking 23 games to do that? I think that even that is a little bit organizational, right? Because they traded for Derrick Rose, and then they signed Derrick Rose to a 3-year contract, 2 years fully guaranteed. He's been a massively important player for this team for 2 years. He's a former MVP. Guys look up to him. Guys respect him. Like, I think you needed to give that guy a bit of a leash, and let him again. And that is separate and apart from the organizational decision. The organizational decision to continue to bring in veterans and pay veterans. I'm just talking about from a Tibbs point of view. But I'm sure different people may differ. Reasonable minds may differ on all of that. Hey, Andrew.
Hey, John. I know we tried this in the past. I'm going to try it again. I have both Cam Reddish quotes if you'd like to. I actually do think he gives some. He refutes the trade request, like, completely. So give me one.
Was second. A trade request? Trade request still hasn't been reported.
What Bondi said today.
Bondi said the team and Cam Reddish's representatives are working to find him a new home.
if that's all that there is, then he would agree with you.
It's the same thing that that Berman reported
said,
this summer, which and Cam was able to honestly look into cameras after that report and said, I never requested the trade because I don't believe he's requested a trade.
So let's hear the first one. Hopefully we can actually hear it.
Okay.
You came here looking for an opportunity and seemed to get it. How hard is it to understand that, you left Atlanta looking for an opportunity?
Of course. That's like the point that it I swear to God. So what if I can paraphrase, what he says
Go for it.
Is that this is where that's the nature of the beast comment comes from. And he says that he's learning the business side of the NBA early. And then he goes on to say, I'm just going to sit here, be a good teammate, and like coach is going to do what he wants to do. Like he was actually, I left very like empathetic, like this is the best face you could put on in this type of situation, especially with your former team in the building. The other clip, so Bagley asks him about the trade request, and he was like, y'all know more than me. I haven't sent out a trade request. I'm at the home chilling. And I like, if they're going to trade me, they'll trade me, but I haven't requested to leave this team yet. So
okay. I think he's handled it pretty well. I have a lot of sympathy for Cam Reddish because he was playing pretty well for this team, playing starters minutes. He was a big part of what they were doing. And then he got hurt and he lost his job.
Mm-hmm.
And he came back and he had a reduced role and played 3 games, not particularly well. And now he's out. Like that, it should not happen. And in a better situation with a team that had better thought out what the hell they were doing in a situation that the Knicks are in, when they acquire a 21-year-old, he was 21 when they acquired him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, you should have a longer runway. But this front office was hired under the guise of, we're going to win you games, James. We're going to win you games, and that's all we're going to do. We're going to win and win and win, 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 win. And then you hire a coach who's win, 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 win. And the plan, they double down and triple down on that plan after the first offseason and the second offseason. Like, those are all realities. And all of those realities make me have sympathy for Cam Reddish that he got traded to this team as opposed to a different team that would have given him a much longer runway and a much wider room to make mistakes and like spread his wings and like see what happens, but like the only thing I push back on with the Cam Hive is like, we have not seen evidence of this player as a pro, and even going back to Duke, where it's like, oh my God, not like taking this player out of the rotation is the most egregious thing on the face of the earth. Like that's the one thing where I have to pump the brakes on.
I think and this might just be how I feel about it, and it's more like I like how many wings the Knicks were ending up with. I think all of us were. Just the fact that you have Cam, you have Quickly, you have Grimes.
Sure, yeah, great.
Just that idea of like, a second look if you wanted to switch everything is an option. And it's almost just a matter of circumstance. And unfortunately, it hurts Cam that this team's biggest issue was defense. And Tibbs had to try and find the best possible defensive lineup. And who has higher defensive upside, Cam Reddish or Quentin Grimes? Cam Reddish or Deuce McBride?
But it's not the fucked up thing. The truly fucked up thing is that if you take the overall Cam Reddish sample size this year and the overall RJ Barrett sample size this year, and you say, which would the Knicks be a better team?
Mm-hmm.
With Cam Reddish playing all of RJ's minutes or RJ's playing all of RJ's minutes? And even you could go a step further and say, moving forward, who would you now take the contract out of it, take the name out of it, take the pedigree, take all of the narrative out of it? Which do you think would be a better team?
I think that's also a lot of the energy coming from said Cam Hive.
Okay, great.
It's unrealistic to expect they're going to bench the guy they just gave an extension to.
Exactly, and it so much of it comes back to this summer and the ills of this summer, which is why I will continue to double and triple and quadruple down on the fact that so many of the issues that are facing this team right now are a result of they got to the finish line and then they tripped over their own 2 feet and they smacked their head against the ground before they crossed the finish line.
Yeah, no, I disagree. I think any silver lining I'll take from this is last year when we were having questions about why Cam wasn't here, it was like, why Cam wasn't in the rotation? It was like, why would he be? He was terrible in the limited sample size we saw. And then all summer, any factoring in of Cam in the conversation, we were like, he's not in the conversation. And now there's an actual, like, you know what? He didn't play bad enough to lose his job. He's just a victim of circumstance. And, you hope the organization does right by him, finding him on another team in the not too distant future. We can reset here.
Okay. We have any more super chats?
We have so many super chats.
Oh, okay,
I just jumped on at a certain point for the beginning of part 2.
Hang out for a bit if you
sure.
Hang out for the rest of the show. Download the WynnBet app. Reminder, or visit www.wynnbet.com to start winning. Sign up today to receive a special offer. Bet $100, win $100. Download Bet Win. I mean, $100 of betting money. What's better than that? Go to wynnbet.com. Come on, you can do it. King of Broadway, baby.
I'm so glad that turned out the way it did.
What a fucking idiot that guy is.
You can't do that and then come out and have that performance. You then can't get blown out and like run off the court, or you don't play the fourth quarter.
Played as many fourth quarter minutes as we did.
I believe this is the next comment, and we go back to Kevin.
Kevin Danishevsky. Oh goodness, come on, Kev. RJ. I'm gonna use a different word. Stinks. I'm sorry. I'd rather keep Randall and see what he was without RJ and trade RJ at this point. Randall's really good when he's on, and RJ is good, and RJ's good is inefficient.
God,
oh, I see. When Randall is good, he's really good. He's efficient. He's like awesome, like he was tonight. When RJ is good, he's still inefficient. Trade him to a tanking team next year. You're going too far for me, Kev. Look, everybody wants me to pile on RJ. I'm not going to do it. He's in a bad place right now, and I disagree that he can't be efficient. RJ Barrett can be efficient. We've seen RJ Barrett be efficient, and I think the most disappointing part about this year is it felt like we were trending towards a more efficient RJ with what we saw over the last 3.5 months of last year, where it's like, okay, the assists ticking up a little bit, free throws ticking up a lot, fewer of those horrendous shots that have no chance of going in, even though the degree of difficulty is going up because he's taking on a larger share of the offense. All of those things. It felt like we were trending in this direction, and now we've gone backwards.
Jeez, John. Why do you love RJ Barrett? Why do you love RJ Barrett so much? We get it. We get it.
I've never not believed in him as a useful component, primary component on a good team. I
mean, hopefully easier competition, a rotation that seems to not be changing anytime soon will lead to him finding some type of consistency too, but we'll see.
I like
Next
it.
Up.
S. Arthur. Let's be fair. RJ had a rough game, 4 for 13, but so did Brunson, 2 for 14. Brunson was arguably worse. I thought worst Brunson game of the season. Not good. Bad. Forgive me for not harping on Brunson's bad game when he's the only reason that the Knicks are in this season.
Although this doesn't add to the tally of wins the Knicks would have if not for Jalen Brunson.
You could. Well, yeah. Yeah. So so now we could say that the Knicks would have 5 wins without Jalen Brunson?
5,
6.
I'm trying to think of the 4th and 5th. This is the 3rd.
Let's be kind and say 5.
Fine, 5.
Thanks, S. Arthur. Bopped you. Kind of crazy. The opposing team only has to guard 4 players when Deuce is on the floor. Man, I did not see the shards coming for Deuce tonight. Great win though. # sell high and trade redacted. Yeah, Deuce needs to be an offensive player, otherwise he's not an NBA rotation player. He needs to make shots, but again, this is something that I think if you choose to be perturbed about this as a member of the Cam Hive, you are somewhat within your rights, which is that, like, well, Deuce is allowed to work through some very glaring offensive issues. Why can't Cam work through, these things? I think a little bit of it is just like positionally, they like having having another small guard out there who can defend the point of attack. That's a Deuce specialty. Cam, as we've seen, does not defend the point of attack as well, and I think that's an area of struggle for the Knicks. But it's a contract, Deuce is under contract for another year, and then they have his restricted rights. Cam is entering restricted free agency this summer. So, yeah.
Two things. One, we said this after the Cleveland game, that the benching of Rose and Cam, if it was temporary, you'll tolerate Deuce being in the road. You'll tolerate going to a 9-man rotation if it's for Deuce, not if Derrick Rose comes back. Which is why, that's the compromise I guess I've made, that it's like, I like the 9-man rotation. I would probably put Cam over Deuce, but I understand why they're not. And it actually, shout out to Schwinn, he had a good thread today. It was like, I would play Cam over Deuce, but this actually could be a fun team that's built with all guys that we drafted and are young and have a lot of upside and might actually be entertaining to watch over the next month or so.
How about having a fucking identity?
Yeah.
Like, fuck, I got to deal with those guards. I got to deal with 80 minutes of Deuce quickly. I mean, again, we'll see how much longer Quickly's here, but I got to deal with 80 minutes of Deuce, Quickly, and Grimes. Like, that's not fun. I don't want to do. And then Mitchell Robinson at the backstop. Like, if you can get essentially 2 of those 3 players on the floor for almost all the game, and you get Mitch in there. I love this quote from Deuce. Shout out to Fred Katz. On his season high 6 assists, the basketball has magic in it. Getting everybody a touch, getting everybody a feel. That's how I get into a good rhythm, seeing others play well. Like, they've pretty clearly drafted guys that have a certain approach to the game, and which is why the Quickly stuff is so annoying. And man,
hasn't happened yet.
I know. I'm
with you on the frustration of the idea,
very,
but hasn't happened yet. The other thing, what are you drinking? Chat wants to know.
I'm drinking some. This is very good. This is some Jean Marie Pinot Noir. It's a 2020 from California. It's a moderately priced Pinot Noir. I think it's like 22, something like that. I'm a big Pinot Noir guy. I don't love all of them. This is quite good, and I like this brand, Jean Marie. So, yeah.
For those who care, I'm drinking sugar-free Red Bull out of a Rangers souvenir cup. Let's go Rangers.
Giddy up.
Next couple are Hush Zoo, and with the tone you recognize, from behalf of the Cam Hive.
The passion, man. The passion is there. I get it. Hush Zoo. Where is this Cam bad defensive performance stretch? The Mavs game, sure, I 100% agree with. He was bad, but the Grizzlies and Detroit, then before that, he was killing it. I think Cam...
Wait, there's more.
Okay. Like, seriously, Cam the guy off one game. Like, come on, man, you're better than this. What's going on with Cam is egregious, and I'd like you to call it out. I can't... is there any more?
There's one more. But
okay.
You react. I got to scroll down to get it.
No, because, like, why is it egregious? Like, why is it? Oh, here we go. Where's the inconsistency? He's one lowest in touches usage. Look over his stats. The only bad offensive stretch was when he was propelled to the starting lineup for 3 games. The offense. One more. I need to preface. I don't think he's next Paul George or a star, but he's been a good wing and not billed his trade value or anything. As some LOL Knicks. Okay, try to take all this in stride. One, his offensive numbers are what they are. They're fine. They're probably a little bit worse than fine. His 3-point percentage is pretty much what it's been throughout his career, which is not great. He's had stretches where he's hit threes. He's had stretches where he hasn't hit threes. If you're a wing in the NBA today and you can't hit threes, your ceiling is limited. I think there is at least a question as to whether Cam Reddish is ever going to be a consistent 3-point shooter. That's number one. Two, I'm done with the creation upside. There is no creation upside. He looks like a guy who has never played basketball before. When he, as shout out to Benji for the video on the difference between when Cam takes 2 or fewer dribbles and when Cam takes more than a few dribbles. Different player in terms of his effectiveness. On offense, he's a guy you hope he's going to hit his threes. He's good from the corners. He can attack a closeout. Looks great on some closeouts. Looks fantastic in transition. Is that a mildly interesting offensive player? Yes. Is it a guy who you figure could probably get 20, 25 minutes for most teams in the league? Yes. Then you go to the defense. And I would really have to sit here and rewatch the Grizzlies game and the Pistons game. The Grizzlies game in particular, I'm going to put that on Thibodeau because Thibodeau is the one who had him guarding the point of attack, but it did exploit a unfortunate reality, which is that Cam Reddish is not a guy who you're going to put at the point of attack and have him shut down guys who initiate most NBA offenses. He's a guy who's you're going to guard, you're going to slide him up on some of the bigger wings. And even then, like, he's good. He's solid. Off ball, he's not quickly. He's nowhere. No one on this team is quickly off ball. But off ball, like, he makes mistakes. He has errors. Like, go back and watch the tape. I'm going to sound like Thibodeau here.
Yeah,
like,
you are.
Yeah. Like going back and rewatching, you see 2, 3, 4 Cam plays every game where it's like, that wasn't great. Again, nobody's perfect. He's still better than most of the defenders on this team. Hell of a lot better than RJ. Hell of a lot better than Randall. Hell of a lot better than Brunson. We are picking nits over this player because of the situation he is in with his contract and with this roster and where they are. For me to sit here and go, this organization should be ashamed of itself for the fact that Cam Reddish is not getting minutes, that's one thing. And I think there was some validity to that point. But if you accept the premise, which sitting here today, if I got up here every day and after every game and I spouted the same shit, which I could have been spouting for the last 3 years, which is that these people don't have a fucking clue as to how to run a basketball team. They should be going in this direction. Instead, they're going in this other direction. And I said the same thing after every game. Well, that would get kind of boring. I have to accept the premise for what it is. And the premise for what it is they're trying to win basketball games. And they're trying to win basketball games this season. If that is the premise, I cannot sit here and I can't lose my fucking mind over the fact that Cam Reddish is out of the rotation. I can't do it. Is it unfortunate for the kid? Yes. Very unfortunate. Highly unfortunate. I'll go back to the same thing I said before as a closing point here, which is that the league tells you what you have. And they've been talking about him since the summer. They talked about him at the trade deadline last year. Nobody values this guy in the way that you, with all due respect, and those of your ilk seem to value him. So it's either the 29 other teams don't know what the fuck they're talking about and they're missing something that's so obvious, or maybe some people in this fan base are a little bit higher on this player than is reasonable. I don't know what else I can say other than that.
Well said. I don't have much to add. I think you hit on the situation really dictating why Cam's out of the rotation, because there is a world where the Knicks don't care about wins and just care about developing him, and that's not this world, which is why the situation is what's unfortunate. Not,
they should be in that world.
Yeah, they should be, but they're not.
I have to add one more caveat. If they were in that world, they would have made the fucking 19th pick in the 2021 draft and drafted a player themselves.
Yeah.
And grew that player. And we would never be having the Cam conversation because they wouldn't have gotten the pick that they used to get Cam, which they didn't want to begin with. But we're not in that world. We don't live in that world. We live in a world where James Dolan wants an entertaining product on his court. He never wanted to tank. He wanted wins. Hire Leon Rose. Leon Rose like, I'm going to get you wins. Here we are.
Yeah. I think, I don't know if I'd go as far as LOL Knicks, but now only time will tell. If he goes to another team and they unlock him, and I think we'll be the first to say, man, the Knicks really missed that one. Let's get to that world first before we call it now that they are in malpractice form, you know?
My God, you talk about me leaning into the bit. Zach Lowe on his podcast with David Penniman 2 days ago or yesterday, whenever the podcast dropped. Like they were bringing up fake Lakers trades. And then Cam Reddish's name came up. And Zach is like, for some reason, the Lakers have an obsession with Cam Reddish, you know? And then Dave politely reminded Zach that who are Cam's reps? Oh, it's Clutch. Oh, yes. Okay. Now it makes sense. Like, you want to tell me Zach Lowe doesn't know what he's talking about? Okay, you could do that. I'm not going to. Like, this is just what this player is.
Yeah.
You know? And like, I guarantee you, if and when Cam gets dealt for a return that is not the same as what the Knicks gave up for him, the Knicks will get clowned for the transactions in totality. They will not get clowned for like, oh my God, the Knicks don't know what they're doing, that they had this player and they give up on him. Like, no one's going to say that.
I don't think so either. And it's literally the same argument we heard about Frank, that he's being misused, and he's on his second team not in a 10-man rotation of a team that could probably use some defense right now, you know? So
we'll Jason Feldman, John, is the deuce loose? I'll hang up and listen. I guess is this what the deuce being loose looks like? I'd like him to hit some more shots.
Can he hit shots in the next game? He was tremendous tonight.
It's just, this is not a good. The Hawks are not playing a good. They're not a good team right now.
They're not.
You know, and against good teams, it is. I think it's really tough. It's tough to survive when one of your backcourt players is not a threat offensively. And for what it's worth, I would not be shocked if a backup upgrade is coming at some point.
We'll see.
We shall see. Requiem Gaming. Hello from the land of enchantment. Can we get the 4 seed this year? You know what? Shit, at this point. I mean, the way no, but like the way the East is, like,
they're a game behind in the loss column. Yes, they could get the 4 seed this year. Dare to dream from the land of enchantment.
I mean, there's 3 really good teams in the East, and then there's everybody kind of like can't get out of their own way.
If I had to look ahead, Brooklyn and Philly would be the teams I'd expect to be ahead of the Knicks. Same thing for Toronto. After that, look at what Atlanta is right now. Look at what Miami is right now. I don't expect, like, Indiana has still been outscored this season.
Indiana's gonna listen. They're trying.
They might also have some chicanery happen, and suddenly Halliburton's out for the rest of the season.
No, there will be chicanery in Indiana. You could bet on that. They're gonna fall out of it. We'll see if Chicago has some pride here. I don't know. I'm going to be very curious to see what happens with those 2 Bulls games next week.
Mm-hmm.
You know, talk about the Knicks get an opportunity to put a team out of its misery and help themselves in the process. Back-to-back wins in Chicago, that would be interesting. Washington, I'll buy Washington still as a real team. And Atlanta, I think Atlanta figures it out.
Okay.
To an extent.
We'll see.
Brian Benjamin, knowing what you know now, would you still draft RJ? Do you really want me to answer that question? I mean, Darius Garland's an all-star. I don't know how to answer that question.
So they do these redrafts all the time during the offseason. RJ's dropped in every redraft I've seen since, like, the last 2 summers, you know? RJ's like the 5th or 6th or 7th pick. Like, Tyler Hero gets taken over him in a lot of redrafts.
Yeah, and like, I don't, I'm not a big Hero guy. I'm still not a big Hero guy. He has massive issues defensively, and he always will, because he just physically. I think the Garland conversation is like, that's probably over. Like,
yeah,
Darius Garland's fucking awesome.
Call it the Cavs now. Do they trade you Darius Garland for RJ Barrett? There's the conversation.
They should call the Cavs right now. Hey, You guys got Mitchell.
We'll take Garland.
We're gonna help you guys out. We're gonna
Uh-huh.
put you over the top. You want that big wing? Do we have an offer for you?
There you go.
Sean Ford, don't look now. The Knicks are up to 19th in defensive rating. Yes. Hashtag Quentin Grimes. Hashtag Deuce. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. I am looking now. Wombler, Cam belongs on the floor for a team going for Victor.
Jesus.
But he was a good player, you know. Now, Cam with like a 25 usage rate, yes, belongs on.
Yes. Look, I do think there is a role for him on this team, but I don't. We've prefaced all of it. We think that Quentin Grimes gives them a higher defensive upside. Quentin Grimes has also like earned the starting 2-guard spot, and if Cam isn't gonna be anything close to what he was in the starting unit as a backup, then they're seeing what they have in Deuce.
They
25th, they went from 25th in defense to 15th or 19th in 2 games.
They never wanted that fucking pick.
You know,
They thought they were going to flip Cam for more than they'd be able to flip the pick 4 going forward.
if you're looking for the other side of the coin here.
Ben L. Cam doesn't deserve this outrage. It's mind-boggling. Layup attempts, doesn't pass, can't hit threes consistently, especially when Quentin Grimes is as good at defense plus a better shot. I mean, like, Grimes is a better player. You know, I don't think there's any question about that. Oh my God, Utah just beat Golden State.
I just saw the box score. Yeah.
I have it on. I didn't see the final shot, but like, miraculous that they won this game. I think this was a wild last few minutes because there was like some scuffle on the floor that I noticed. Man, talk about the Jazz. Give Will Hardy Coach of the Year. Yeah, thanks, Ben. I don't disagree with that.
Damn it.
Danny K.
I had the Warriors money line.
What?
Shout out WynnBet. I had the Warriors money line, so that makes me upset.
You that good thing you didn't watch the end of this. You would be pulling your hair out right now.
Yes, clearly. Yes.
Tibbs deserves credit for giving Quentin Grimes minutes over Cam and Evan Fournier. Like, you know, I don't know what credit to give Tibbs for what's gone on versus the blame to give him for what's gone on. Have we not been saying for a while he's like 25 other coaches in the NBA, which is like he's a coach that when, you know, he could look pretty good sometimes and other times he could look not so good. He's probably not the root cause of any of your problems, and he's probably not going to be like the biggest part of any of your solutions. Yeah.
By the way, the rest of this comment, we left at 4 seed and didn't finish the rest of the comment. So shout out to Requiem Gaming, the Remnant.
Oh yeah, please keep. So hello again from the land of enchantment. Can we get the 4 seed this year? Yes. Clearly, please keep quickly. Defeat the Monstars. Give Emmanuel Quickly his joy back. Hashtag G League Fairy sighting. G League Fairy. I forgot that one. That was a good moment for me. I hope they keep Quickly. I so badly do.
This was read?
Yeah, we read that. And Anthony Sixto, thank you for the contribution. Teams better than the Knicks are losing to teams missing key pieces. For the most part, we are winning games we're supposed to win. The upcoming stretch gives them a shot at a larger win streak despite the noise. That's a sensible comment to me. And boy, has there been a lot of noise. Again, it's the how, it's not the what. It's how they lost the Thunder game. It's how they lost the Boston game. It's how they lost the first Atlanta game. It's how they lost the Brooklyn game. It's how they lost the Dallas game. You know? Should they have lost all of those games? Like, argument, yeah, you know, but, or is it egregious that they lost any of those games to those teams? Like, no, but like it, you know, it's the how. And that's what got James Dolan riled up. And that's what gets the fan base riled up. Kevin Danishevsky with one more. No diss to Emmanuel Quickly, but is Quentin Grimes the best New York draft pick since ... Grimes is the best Knick draft pick since who? Well, I mean, like, I guess like bang for your buck. So like, I guess I'm not going Porzingis here. Porzingis is a really good pick.
It could be KP, yeah.
Can
we also talk about this in a month? Like, I like Grimes, but can we see a month?
Yeah, I mean, like, look, if this keeps going, and he needs to shoot it. Like we all of us, me, like make Quentin Grimes' shot out to be a given, right? Oh, the shot's a given. Shot's coming, right? Everybody's like, oh, if all you're worried about is Quentin Grimes' shot, you don't know to worry about. Well, you still got to see it, right? I know he's 5 for 7 tonight. His percentages for the year still are not great. I know he shot it great last year. He's always shot it. I believe the shot is a given, but we do have to see it. Now, if the shot continues to be what we think it's going to be, the defense is not going anywhere. The other stuff that he does is not going anywhere because, like, it's not like we're seeing crazy, like, mid-range shooting or creation or anything. That's like he is playing within himself as an offensive player. These are skills he's had since high school when he was a combo guard, when he was a heavily recruited combo guard. So, like, it's just like if the shot is there and the shot is consistent, like, oh boy, then we could have a conversation. We're almost there, Kev. Busy, just popping in to say, I can't be real excited about winning to a depleted team. Missing 3 of its 5 starters was anticlimactic. So no Murray, no Collins, and no Hunter. All right. Look, that's fair. You got a lot of people on board with you, Busy.
I'm just going to respond to a comment. Mensa's. So I originally went into tonight's betting and sweating with because we went 3 for 4 tonight. I'm the one that missed because I said Quentin Grimes 2 steals and he got 0. The other one I was debating, which I told everybody on Patreon on playback, was Julius Randle 3s or Brunson 3s, with the caveat that I was also leaning national TV Julius game, Julius Randle against the Hawks. And what I got was a big goose egg and one of the better nights ever from Julius Randle. Someone put it in the chat that apparently this was the first ever 30-plus point, 15-plus rebound, 5-plus assists, 5-plus made 3, 0 turnover game.
In NBA history?
Yes.
Oh, that's possible.
That's Julius Randle making history tonight. By the way, Busy has another question.
Okay. And then we got some Obi Toppin news. P.S. I want to join the Patreon. I want to know which tier I have to sign up for to debate you on why this team is 100% Tibbs' fault. Have a good night. Yeah,
that would be the Monroe tier because we had to do a town hall once a month,
the town hall, right?
Everybody yells at John during the town hall. So
oddly enough, that really doesn't happen even anymore. You know,
been a minute. Shout out to Frank from Patreon. I know the conversation's coming. Don't worry. But if you want, Busy, the Monroe tier lets you join us. We get together for like 2 hours once a month.
Can I put on the hat?
Oh yeah, go ahead. And to all our Ewing tier patrons, look at that.
Hold on.
This is our monthly giveaway to all of our Ewing tier patrons. The first ever KFS hat.
Yes, officially. How's it look? Does it look okay?
I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't like myself especially with the headphones. It's a little.
Yeah. Rarely do we see you in hats.
What?
Rarely do we see you in hats.
No, so. I know. I'll put it on before I end the show. So Obi Toppin, expected to go an MRI in his right knee tomorrow.
So all of this, hour and 24 minutes into the live stream. Guess who just got a rotation spot back?
He left New York's victory with what the Knicks described as a sore knee. I mean, MRI it's not good.
No.
Wouldn't that be something for Cam to get? I mean, I said it earlier. Like, if we find out that Obi's gone for a while,
Cam's back up 4. Yep. And all is fine. Again, 90 minutes, a couple days arguing on Twitter, and yet here we are. Cam's back in the rotation. Hopefully he stays in the rotation. Let's
see. I mean, boy, you want to talk about something that would...
Oh, if they go to Rose?
Oh, no, they won't do that.
Okay.
No, I'm just talking about, like, if this team did have notions of, like, really prioritizing Obi and trying to trade Randle in part to unlock, whatever was going to be with Obi Toppin, and Obi was out for a while, like, imagine Julius plays even better. in that absence. Like,
So I have to say it. If Obi is out for a while and Cam isn't the option, then
I hope he's not out for a while. Just to be very clear.
Then John.
Oh yeah, I had the same thought.
Throwing it out there.
Pointing to a Melo jersey for anybody who's not
pointing
watching.
to my Carmelo Anthony jersey.
He's sitting at home on his couch. Johnny Chiba, Deuce Chills, D wins chips, Quentin Grimes equals the real deal. Hashtag KOC. Thank you, JM. I think it's thank you, JM.
Yeah, TYJM.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Johnny. Good to hear from you. Requiem Gaming, back-to-back wins against the 3rd and 4th seeds in the East. Enjoy it. I'm enjoying it. It was a fun one. I like this.
That was a good. And after playing a couple of close games against the Bucks and the Memphis Grizzlies, and we'll see.
Team played really good. That's awesome. ARA Rawad. Thank you for the contribution. Who's better, Cam with the ball in his hands and RJ current role? Oh, Cam with the ball in his hands in RJ's current role or RJ? God. I mean, a night like tonight, RJ looked like just about the worst player in the league.
I'll go on. You want me to go on record so people don't yell at you?
Sure.
Cam. The way RJ's played this year, Cam. It's absolutely Cam. The situation is that Cam is extension eligible. His contract is not important to the team. RJ just got an extension. Therefore, they are going to have a longer runway with him. It's unfortunate. The way Cam was playing, I would give him RJ minutes. I would give him plenty of RJ's minutes. It's not happening, unfortunately. I say that with as much empathy in my heart. Okay?
I'm so fascinated to see what they do with the Obi thing. ARA Rawad with one more. My goodness. Just an observation. Tibbs is a great coach, but not for this phase. Tibbs is a coach that can get you a championship, but not a coach who will develop talent. What we need is a coach who will increase the player's value to trade for a star. I mean, we talked about it a lot this summer. I think there's a lot of people out there who think that more minutes equals more value, and that would have changed the Mitchell sweepstakes. I'm less on that train. I think he's done some really nice development things here. I think players have developed. I think Quentin Grimes is a lot better. I think Quickly's gotten a lot better. I think Obi's gotten better, although he's been in a slump and now he's hurt apparently. That's development. I don't know. Yeah.
What I would add to that is over however long this next 9-man rotation exists, everybody in the rotation is under 29 years old. So you could call them kids. You could call them like men that haven't entered the prime of their career. This is a low-key youth movement. So hopefully you get to see the development while they're trying to win games.
Hopefully. ARA Rawad with one more. Being objective, RJ should be on the bench. If not, so it basically says something about his stupid contract, and it's not a Cam hive. The guy isn't motivated because he knows no matter what, he will be benched when RJ can do whatever. Oh, I get what you're saying. So, Cam is lacking in motivation because he knows that, nothing is ever going to get him ahead of RJ with this team. I mean, I don't know. I could see that being a part of it. I just think he is definitely disheartened because of, how things went down, and that's fair. That's legit. It's definitely legit. Mangu Man. Is RJ even a top 20 for guys his age or younger? No,
not right now.
No. No,
not right now. He isn't. No.
Is it even close?
I'd have to sit down, do the list. I don't want to say something egregious. I wonder how close to 40 we get.
Are we talking assets or are we talking players right now?
How they're playing right now. RJ's been horrifically inefficient on a lot of usage and has been terrible on defense this year. I think he'll get better. The caveat, I don't think this is who he is, but he's been really bad this year.
Yeah, he's it's tough because the way he's played this year, you're gonna get people God, who put Caruso ahead of him on their
Seth Portnoy.
Seth Portnoy,
yeah.
part now. different
Yeah.
person. Like you're gonna get people who are like, there are efficient role players who are clearly helping their teams more than RJ Barrett, and those people are not wrong because they're efficient role players who are helping their teams more than RJ Barrett. The thing with RJ was always like what's coming down the line, and like as he develops his game, like that's why you deal with the bumps along the way. You know, I don't know. Anyway, also we've had crazy luck with opposing team injuries. Would like to get at least one convincing win. Yeah, that'd be nice.
Cleveland?
No, Allen.
Oh, okay. I mean,
they
third
missed-
best player.
They missed everything. I think the Cleveland win was
Yeah.
pretty good.
Utah had everybody, and they just beat Golden State without Curry. That's the other thing. Everybody's
Utah
missing
did have
somebody.
everybody.
Like everybody's missing somebody right now. You know, all the Laker games without LeBron, do they not count? Do all the Embiid game, do all the Sixers wins without Embiid not count? We're not the only team getting that kind of luck.
And again, as the comment before said, like teams across the league are without star players and winning games. You know, so
look no further than the Detroit Pistons, who have been putting up a fight against so many of the quote unquote good teams in this league, and the Knicks take a mine of woodshed every time. So
yes, they do. Leo Weiner, I'm not sure. Great seeing my friend and former teammate Kevin Danishevsky yesterday for the first time in years. There's only one KD that matters. Go Knicks. Oh, that's cool.
Hey, shout out friendship. There you go.
Shout out. That's great. Thanks, Leo. Okay, we'll finish strong here. ARA Rawad, thank you again. Cam reminds me of the Toronto version of T-Mac. He needs to be option 1 or 2 to explode. I would just refer you to, again, the wonderful film work that our own Benji Ritholtz did a week or so ago, in which he went through a whole lot of plays in which Cam was like trying to create and taking a bunch of dribbles, and then some plays where he was trying to do less. I think Cam Reddish less is more. I'm not sure I'm on the Cam Reddish is the next T-Mac train right now.
Well, it's because you're on the Paul. He's the next Paul George train instead, right?
Oh yes, that's correct.
Yeah,
that's correct.
I respectfully disagree, ARA Rawad, but thank you for the contribution. We greatly appreciate all of your contributions tonight.
I disagree.
All of your contributions when you're here. Love the family that we've created here at KFS. All takes, wild
Thanks,
or
welcome.
reasonable, are welcome.
Busy with another one. Randall signing autographs for Dolan after checking out. Did he really do that? Is that what they were doing? I saw him over there talking to him. I don't see him getting traded anytime soon. Yeah.
No point now if Obi's hurt.
Well,
that might change things.
Shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
And well,
last one.
Pluckster. Mitch with 0 fouls makes me happy. Hashtag development. I don't know. Is that a good thing? Yeah, I guess it's good.
So I want to make sure we cover all bases here before we get out of here. ARA Rawad, if that was a troll, then well done. The issue with why I took it seriously is I've heard the take of he's the next.
I don't think that was a troll.
Well, so the chat is saying that was clearly a troll, and so
I don't think so.
I'm making sure if it was a troll, then well done, you got us. If it wasn't, I respectfully disagree.
I'm convinced that some of these like accounts on Twitter, like I'm not gonna say anything, but like these accounts that like prop up certain players and like put up stats and whatnot. I'm convinced some of what
like Blank Muse.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm convinced some of those are in on the bit, but then I'm like, I'm not sure.
Listen, I enjoy a good stat when someone has it, you know. Hold on. ARA was clarifying.
Here we go. Let's go.
Oh, apparently we missed a super chat too. I'll go find it.
Okay.
But this is.
I'm serious.
Yeah,
I mean, like,
and I respectfully disagree, ARA Rawad.
Look. Cam has some nice tools. He's tried to create this year a lot. It has almost it has gone bad almost every time, to the point where the eye test says he lacks confidence. I'm not. I mean, so okay, so you're saying give him a much higher usage rate and like much more minutes, and like suddenly these plays where he's like dribbling off his feet and like falling down on his way to the basket and putting up shots that have no shot of going in are suddenly going to be like, again, I would just lean on the league tells you what you have. And if anybody out there in the NBA thought that the Knicks were sitting on the next Tracy McGrady, I'm pretty sure they would pay what the Knicks are currently asking for Cam Reddish, because it's not a lot. We'll see.
We have a take from the philosopher.
The philosopher's take. Great. Mac, a thought. The negative association people have with tanking is ridiculous. Playing, evaluating, and developing young players may result in a tank, but does not always mean you are tanking. I completely agree. We need to reevaluate how we talk about quote unquote tanking. Because you can win 24 games in a season and have it feel absolutely atrocious and awful. And you could win 24 games in a season and have it feel like, hey, we're really onto something here. You know, there are good things happening here. But I think the reason why it has a negative association is because there is a thought that it is very tough to develop good habits amidst losing. I think that's why it gets a bad rap. And I think maybe there is some truth to that, but I don't know. I think it makes a big difference when you have that star there, and especially when that star is in their first year, maybe their second year, but usually their first year, when it's like, all right, we got the guy. We're going to let the guy figure it out, and we're going to let the guy go through his lumps. You know, yeah, that's all I could say about that. Sam Garcia's dad, what's going on? Sam Garcia's dad missed most of the game. Is the recap that Julius Randle and Grimes were the most responsible for the win? Absolutely. They were awesome. Anyone else worth mentioning? Defense was good across the board. Deuce played some really nice defense. And who else is worth mentioning? The Hawks for stinking. They were bad. You're mute.
Damn, that was a good joke, too. Cam didn't allow a single point. Sam Garcia's dad.
Jesus Christ. That's unfortunate. Thank you, everybody. Cam Hive, non-Cam Hive, anywhere in between. Thanks for tuning in tonight. We will be back with the one and only Fred Katz for Friday's pod. Very excited for that. I'm going to ask him the hard-hitting questions about his piece today about the Quickly trade rumor. I was amazed we didn't get more stuff about Quickly tonight.
I think people got it out there in the day. And there may be a hint of ignorance is bliss. Like, he's still here. We're not acknowledging that report. You know, like Robert Cross today, as much as it might have been a bit, like, he doesn't want to talk about it. Doesn't want to talk about the fact that they might trade Emmanuel Quickly.
I think,
you know,
I don't know. I'm trying to think, like, over the last all the years I've been doing this, has there ever been a bigger early on last season with Tibbs? It was pretty big. I was going to say a bigger disconnect between me and a seemingly large segment of the fan base than with the
nothing
Cam thing.
Is bigger than last year.
Than the Tibbs thing. Yeah.
Nothing is bigger than that.
Cam thing's close though, but I don't think I'm in the minority.
You're not in the minority. That is the minority is quite literally becoming loud. It's the silent majority, but the vocal minority.
Got it.
That is making it sound like everybody wants Cam. You know. And look, I acknowledge I wanted to see more of Cam. I also acknowledge this team was 26th in defense, and that effort against Dallas was not what you want if you want to stay in the rotation. You know?
Yeah, I don't know. There's some. I mean, I said it after the last game, and I'll say it again now. It's like the fact that there was nothing in me being like, man, they could really be missing an opportunity here. Like, there's nothing sticking in my craw about this. Like, I don't know. Maybe my instincts are shit. They probably are. But like the fact that isn't there, where it is there with the notion of trading quickly, very much so. So yeah, I think that it says something to me, but we'll see. Okay. Thanks for what?
One more time.
Oh yeah, download the WynnBet app. How can we forget? Thanks to our friends at WynnBet for sponsoring this postgame. Visit www.wynnbet.com to start winning. Sign up today to receive a special offer. Bet $100, win $100. Download, bet, win. See you for the
Hold
cat
on.
spot.
One more thing. Speaking of Fred Katz, did you read this quote from him about if Obi misses time?
I didn't see it.
I got it. Tom Thibodeau said if Obi Toppin misses time because of the knee, using RJ Barrett at the 4 more, which the Knicks did some last year, is one possibility. Whew.
I mean, we've been talking about since RJ was drafted that they should consider using him at the 4. I think the bigger question there was would they go to an 8-man rotation?
An 8-man rotation. Well, get to see a ton of minutes for the kids. Tell you that much.
I mean, considering how many minutes he plays as starters, it's not insane.
Yeah, not insane at all.
And considering how many minutes he plays RJ.
We said it during the Patreon, during the playback. The way RJ's played this year might actually be a 4. Might actually be better for him to play minutes at the 4 and guard other 4s. And there is how you split up RJ and Randall.
Yeah, but if Obi's out, Randall's playing 40 a game.
All right. If he wants to play it, he can play it.
Man, this is going to get wild.
Playoff minutes.
Thanks again for tuning in, everybody. We'll catch you soon. Peace out.